Welcome to Uncontained, episode 180. I'm your host, Aaron Static Render, and I'm sorry if you missed me last week, but I got a good reason. I promise. A good reason for not having a show. I was actually getting married. That's right. I had my wedding last week, and now it's back at it with a brand new episode featuring filmmaker, cinematographer, and director Jose Zambrono Cassella. Jose has been working in film for over 24 years. Has been a part of over 450 national and international television commercials, including American Express, Mac, Farmers, and we also talk about how he got his start directing film, which goes back to a drunken bet. I'll tell you that much, and you'll have to listen to the show to find out exactly what happened with that. He's also been known for a lot of work in horror movies, and we talk about an upcoming film which I'm looking forward to seeing. It's called Brides of Jesus. It's about two runaway nuns who are accused of stealing money and who are also in a punk band. So the possibilities are endless. I'm really looking forward to seeing this film. I won't keep yapping at you much longer, but please check us out on social media: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Like, follow, and subscribe to the show. That helps. Thank you for listening. And this is how Jose Zambrono Cassella lives uncontained. How are you doing today, Jose?
How you doing?
Not bad. So I was trying to do a little research on you. Like, see, I saw you have done a lot of commercials. Do you tend to lean towards horror films when you make films?
It's kind of funny because when I started out, because I was making, obviously, for a lot of people, when they start out, especially in film, horror films is kind of like the thing, right? Because it's actually the simplest thing to do. And well, I won't say simplest, it's more like most fun thing to do, in my opinion. But no, we've done everything. I've done drama, I've done all the kinds of all kinds of stuff. In fact, the struggle has been the last time I made actual horror film was 10 years ago.
Okay.
So for the last, on my own, I've shot out horror films to other people recently, but it's of my own. I've been trying to because we're developing projects right now, and I'm trying to steer away from horror,
Okay.
But but at the same time, it's fun. It's a lot of fun to do a horror film, It's because we know we're not gonna win an Oscar. We're not gonna. It's just not gonna be like a festival darling or anything like that, because festivals have bias against horror films. But it's just gonna be fun.
Yeah, and you can always do the horror film festivals. There's plenty of those out there as well.
Oh yeah.
I guess we can just continue rolling on as we want.
Let's do it.
Speaking with Jose Zambrano Cassella, is that how you say your last name?
Yeah. We have long names. I was like, well, I'm Latino Italian, so it's kind of
okay.
So you got so it's a long name anyway.
So you got both influences. Both languages are very similar. I've been trying to learn a little Italian actually lately.
Yeah, so I'm a filmmaker. I'm Italian, I'm Latino, so I'm definitely a very dramatic, artist. I guess. You complain all the time, all that stuff.
There you go. So is it safe to say you got your start doing horror films?
Yes. I started out mainly in commercials and stuff like that, because at the beginning I was trying to get into cinematography. I wanted to be that dude that shoots and lights the scene, because I figured that's really the person who's making it happen. Really.
Yeah.
And as I discovered a lot, no offense, a lot of directors out there, but we're saving your butt all the time. And it's and I wanted to control the language, and I wanted to have all this, high ideals and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to know how to light. I want to know how to shoot. I want to know how to the mechanics. So when it comes time for me to direct, I don't have to depend on anybody. So I grew up admiring people like John Carpenter, or people there's so many, David Lynch, people like that, David Cronenberg. So it's I noticed a lot of these people did things on their own. So I wanted to do it on my own. So I started in commercials. When I first got an opportunity to make a film on my own, some years later, when I directed them for the first time, it was a horror film. It just seemed natural to do horror film. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. You know.
Horror films are an interesting beast in itself, you know. Growing up, I wasn't too into horror films because at first I was like, these don't really scare me. Then it took seeing the movie Army of Darkness to help me understand what, horror films are to be amusing and give you a little bit of a jump scare as well.
I love Army of Darkness. I remember exactly the day. As I'm a little older, I remember exactly when it came out and everything else. And I just love the fact that Sam Raimi just kind of went like, okay, if we're gonna make a sequel, we're just gonna blow. I mean, it was so blown out of proportion, compared to the first two films. So no, yeah, Sam Raimi is another one that had a good understanding of how to make a film. You can leave that man alone without his DP, and he'll still shoot the film.
Yeah.
And that's why I got into cinematography and then eventually directing.
Very cool, man. So you mentioned that you're trying to stay away from or steer away from horror now, correct?
Yeah, well, I have to correct a little bit of that. We do have a series of projects. There's one right now that my partner and I are putting together is getting a lot of traction. But among the slate of projects, that we have, obviously, there's always going to be a horror one. And of course, deep inside, I'm always thinking, why don't we make the horror one first? what I call the little one, the smaller one, and then we'll make the big one.
Okay.
Because the one we're developing right now, it should be, God willing, actually. Sorry, or both. It's shooting next year, and it's getting a lot of traction. It's a thriller, Trejo, Don Lundgren, like cop, low budget movie, or the question is, a lot of people are so enamored with it's gotta make a movie. It's like, dude, yes, but do you even know what you're making? Is this something that you want to do? So my biggest recommendation to people, honestly, especially in the business that I'm in, man, is very simple. I mean, it comes to this stuff, and I hate to do this because I used to be the guy that used to say, "Oh, you got a movie? Is it about a pickle that flies? Let's go. Let's just go. Let's go." The whole thing is like, it doesn't matter. Let's make movies. My attitude now is a little different because you are most of the time spending somebody else's money or doing a huge sacrifice that's going to affect your family. So sometimes it's the ego. You get blinded by that shit. And so it's kind of like, you have to ask yourself, does this need to be made? Or the other one, first of all, does this need to be made? This cop movie or this drama, does it need to be made? Okay, and if you feel that it needs to be made, okay, because everything has been made, so then you understand it's like, it's the way you present it. Are you prepared? Have you done your homework, or you're just a guy who just watches a little bit of Netflix and that's it? Have you done your homework as a director or as a DP or as whatever? Do you have the right influences? Do you know? I mean, because I always say, if you only watch your shows on Netflix, boom, boom, because they're basically just throwing at you what they want you to see. And fuck great cinema and fuck all this great stuff that came before, because they can't afford to license it. So it's kind of like you're stuck with basically this stuff that is a huge sea of sameness. So it's like, and it's okay. I always say, if you're going to make something, one of the best things you can do is, prepare yourself. It's almost like exercise. I always say, when it comes to movies, you can have chicken nuggets all the time, the entire month. But every once in a while, watch a freaking steak. Have a steak.
I like that.
And it's like, I'm not saying you have to, I'm not saying you have to fucking watch Citizen Kane, but I'm like, there's so much beautiful amazingness from a time where cinema had balls in the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, 90s, I mean, that nobody watches anymore. So therefore, you have directors and people right now that basically are all just watching shows and binging on shows, which is great. I watch shows too. But it's like, that's all they watch. So I dare people. I literally can put right now, let's say, imagine we had here in this desk 20 shows, okay? 20. Just random 20 shows from whatever, Netflix, Amazon, whatever. And we'll put them in. And I'll just click play on every one of them, imagine I have a bunch of buttons here. So I press the next one.
Yeah.
First one, sorry. Do you know who directed this? But just watching a few seconds or watching a few, I'll leave you, let it watch for a minute. Do you know who made this? Who shot this? You don't know. Because it looks exactly like the next one. And it looks exactly like the next one. And then this one looks exactly like the next one. And it's like, we have these beautiful dolly shots and master shots, and it looks good. No, it looks television, Netflix good. you've lost your way. You don't understand what a real widescreen frame in true cinema looks like. So you need to go back and look at that. So that I always tell people, if you, again, going back to that question, if you're going to make a movie, or if you're going to make a song, whatever it is, does it need to be made? And are you prepared to make it? You know, that's you have the influences. So, I mean, it's a long story. Sorry if I get off on it, because I see every week I see films that I know from friends, from people I know that I know before they're made, they're doomed. And that's literally like about 90% of it. I hate to say it. I mean, I've made that mistake. So it's kind of like, because here's the typical thing that happens. I'm going to make my movie. Then I'm a cheap bastard, or I'm too lazy to raise a lot of money. So I go ahead and just hire whoever has a camera. It doesn't matter if he sucks ass. It's just like, basically, he's got a camera, so let's go.
That's all the qualification he needs.
It's over. It's finished, my friend. So it's and then a poor bastard by the investor who doesn't know research. He thinks these guys can make a movie, and then you can multiply that by a million every year. And
I got a question for you, Jose.
Sorry,
going about the does it need to be made aspect, and how you didn't used to have that view. Do you think it changes as like you become more established, like yourself, 25 years in, opposed to being starting out just making something?
Yeah, great question. Good question. I do believe one thing though. When I mean like, does it need to be made? I mean, when you already are dealing with somebody else's money. I treat that very, very sacred, because it's not your money. You're not taking the risk. If he gave you $300,000, he's the one, okay, that gave you money for your glory. Okay, so the thing about it is, if you're starting out, dude, shoot as much as you can. Grab that iPhone, grab that any camera. Right now, man, when I started out 1,200 years ago, it's like there was only like 60 millimeter cameras.
Yeah,
I've always been, you know, like into the stuff. I mean, I used to work with a lot of independent filmmakers when I studied out, like Robert Rodriguez, people like that. I was part of that school.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like, I am extremely passionate when it comes to that. If you're starting out, go and shoot. But that's what I mean. There's two things, man. If you're starting out, shoot until you can't shoot no more. Keep shooting, no matter what. There's no excuse. Go out there and shoot and make something. Okay, and please, you know, watch great films. Start figuring out how different directors work. It's almost like we have a generation right now of people that want to play guitar like Eddie Van Halen, or freaking like I don't know, like you know, Jimi Hendrix, but only listen is like to Maroon 5. You know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like, it's just like, you have to listen to Hendrix, you have to listen to Jeff Beck, you know. So it's kind of like, go back.
Yeah,
you know,
and listen to the people they listen to get to where they are too.
Exactly. So have expand the horizon. So they definitely shoot, ask questions later. And the second one is like influences. And my friends, you don't need film school. I'm a firm believer. You don't need that shit. You basically go, your influences are already within you, and you can build them. Now, film school is great in the sense, like, if you want to have a degree, you want to please your parents, a whole thing, and to get a little structure. But it's not going to get you work. It's basically, filmmaking is a job that's from the beginning of time. It was learned by watching others. It was skills passing from one person to the next.
Yeah.
So you can go, and there's tons of tutorials on YouTube. Well, 80% of them are kind of tutorials done by people that shouldn't be making tutorials. But it's a good 20% of tutorials that are actually good. And just learn. But when the time comes, when that magical moment comes, and it will come if you're passionate, that you have to make the first. Well, you know what? Let's not even qualify the first movie, because the first movie, you're like, oh my God, it's my first official movie. It's like the funding, and it's just great. That one, you can do whatever. But I would say, like, once you a little more once you get to a point in which you're spending some semi decent money, and you're in a position. I actually meant that comment for people that are in a enviable position to make films. You know, they are established, they can pay their rent, they have the nice house and everything else, and they still choose to make crap. And it's just kind of like, we're trying to get independent cinema back. And I think there's a few sporadic spots here and there which you can see how independent cinema can make money in the theaters. and can come back. So it's up to you guys. So go shoot, get yourself, make yourself better, and get some great influences, and just tell great stories. We need more filmmakers, more American film, more, like more of that. When I started out, man, it was Robert Rodriguez, Steven Soderbergh, Quentin Tarantino, all these people, Christopher Nolan. They all literally at the same time as me. It was a group of magic. It was exactly what happened in the 70s. And I was just kind of like, wow, this is incredible. So I'm waiting for a new wave to come in, just like I hope rock comes back to the radio.
Is there anybody in the horizon that you're watching now that you think might be on the verge of coming out with
the
something
beautiful
new?
thing is, man, it's just a ton of people. There's so much talent out there, man. It's just you're not going to change the studio system. The studio system wants to play safe. They could have on one side, they can have a brilliant new American classic that could only cost you maybe $2-3 million to make, and it's just a new classic. And on the other side, they'll have a new Spider-Man movie that costs you $300 million. So they'll go with a Spider-Man movie. The studio situation to me is over. It's finished. But we can, right now, there's a different thing going on that gets me really excited, man. You can make your film. You have the tools to make your film look amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the one thing which I didn't have. You can put your film out there without a middleman sometimes, because sometimes in order to get distribution back in the day, you have to go through a middleman that will screw you. I mean, I was in distribution companies that will call my distributors knowing pretty well they were never going to pay me any money. And I will literally tell them, can you send me, like $1? Just send me $1. Just tell me $1. And that way we can because it was so bad back then. So you're going to make less money. It's not like back in the recording industry back in the day, artists were making a lot more money. I mean, the ones that were signed.
Yeah.
It's the same thing now. Artists make less money. But you know what? But they get the tools are different. Same thing with filmmakers. There's a lot of, I mean, it's different. I want to say, to answer your question, filmmakers right now, man, I can even pinpoint right now, there's at least 50 to 60 people, also women, directors, but I love the fact to see more women.
Yeah.
Which is incredible. It's a beautiful thing, and I hope to see even more. And there's so much in front of our eyes. It's interesting what the theatrical experience is going to be, the new ways of distributing. There's too much content. So I think filmmakers nowadays, they kind of need to go back and to really create a style for themselves so they can differentiate.
Yeah.
It's like you have to find a way to make yourself unique. And when you watch a Kubrick film, you know it's Kubrick. When you watch a Spielberg film, you know it's Spielberg. When you watch it, and so on and so on and so on, it goes on. So So what? I'm not saying if you don't have a particular style, don't do it. I'm saying like whether it's visual, whether it's through writing, whether it's through something, but you have to make your product stand out because obviously it's a lot of people. The one thing in common I can tell you right now, with the exception of 1%, is like most of us all making content. A lot of these people are not making any money. This is not a money making career. We do it because it's in our blood. I guess I can imagine doing anything else. I mean, and I just recently lost a big film I was going to shoot in October, and this October, big film that I was shooting in Roswell, and they pushed the date. They pushed it to next year. I'm like, okay, now what do I do? It's like the life of a freelancer, So,
got to shoot another horror film.
Yeah,
I actually want to shout out like a past guest on the show here for like coming up with new ways or different ways to tell a story. You're used to like the or the Dracula vampire story, like the European vampire. Well, I had past guest Matthew Abaya, who is Filipino American, and he like tells the story of the Aswang, which is a Filipino vampire, and
that's cool.
It's his movie's called Vampiriah.
That's cool.
And they split at the waist and fly away.
That's cool.
And like have like super long tongues that shoot out and like take your insides.
Oh man, let's see that. I'll see that. That's awesome. You see that's for at least American audiences.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a new take. Well, yeah, if you're gonna make a vampire movie, they definitely make it a Filipino vampire. Let's go with that.
Yeah, or explore some other lores, It's like,
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I know it's unrelated, but Philippines. I was there. I shot there some years ago in Cebu, and it's like, oh my God! I mean, what beautiful people, beautiful country, and it's just like, at least that island. I wasn't in Manila, but it's like I was this close. I was like literally like an inch was saying like, how about if I just say the hell with everything and you kind of stay here? I just stay here because it was this beautiful island, beautiful women, beautiful guy, beautiful people. But it's like, yeah, wonderful locations for anybody that has the means to shoot in that area of the world. It's incredible, very affordable, incredible locations. I mean, hardworking people. Anyway, but
yeah.
Yay for Filipino Vampires. Let's do that.
Yeah, dude, it was really cool. I suggest you check it out.
What was the name of it?
It's Vampiraya.
Vampiraya. Let me write this on. This also Vampiraya.
And it's on like Amazon Prime and stuff like that, so you can check it out there.
Excellent. See, that's a cool thing about Amazon. It's incredible. Now everybody and their grandmother can put like something on Amazon, which is great.
I know.
Back then, dude, I had to go to a distribution company, quote unquote distribution company, and all these people did was grab your project and then ship it or mail it to those people. And they would take literally like 70, 80%. I mean, it's crazy. There's some of that still going on.
Yeah, but the crazy part is like you couldn't get stuff out without a distributor connecting you to those stuff. You couldn't mail it out yourself.
The only difference now, you still get screwed, but it's like the Amazon and Netflix, I mean, they pay you like, it's like their mission is not to give you anything. Okay, so it's the same thing. But if anything, at least my product is out there. You know what? I uploaded it. I send it. It's there. The middleman can go to hell. That's great. And I love that. Brave New World. I love it. So it's great.
Yes, you gotta love and hate the technology at the same time because it's awesome. Yeah. Everybody can get something out there, but it's also you have to look through you have to be patient and look through all the stuff to get to what you want, or your project could get lost in a lot of other stuff too. But
I see a lot of people that talk about we're gonna be on Netflix or we're gonna be on Amazon. I always say to people, if you're going to make something, just be very mindful if you can of like building some kind of hype before the project is done, while the project is shooting. Just build that social media. It's not that hard, dudes. I mean, it's like, if not, pay a few, you can get a teenager to help you with that, and they'll know that stuff. Just build this so by the time your project is done, there's some kind of presence. Because remember this, Amazon, Netflix, and people don't understand. You can have your shit in there. You can have your stuff there. But if nobody knows it exists, it's going to be a long time before you get your money back. So build the thing, build that beast. Man.
Yeah.
I learned, that's the biggest revelation for me, learning how important the social media aspect is.
Now, I don't necessarily know how like getting something posted on Amazon works. Do you have to pay them to post it for you, and then you make your money back as it comes? Or
I haven't put anything on Amazon. I just know about people that have done it, and I keep seeing people with their projects, and I still haven't had. I mean, I've had movies of mine being distributed on Blu-ray or DVD or whatever on Amazon, right? But it's all the streaming part of it. I haven't really done that. But I mean, I'm sure it's various ways. You can either do it yourself or you can do it through them. I'm sure there's various ways. I mean, I haven't really gone into it. To me, it's streaming is a. If I was gonna make a project in my situation, I haven't dealt with that yet. Right now we're just actually dealing with pre-sales, which is mainly just kind of like seeing more like outside of the country. That's where a lot of the real money. Basically, my idea is just like always try to make, if I can, if it's possible, to make the majority of the impact of profits before we go into some Amazon or Netflix or something like that. Because once you're there, you're just a thumbnail.
Yeah,
that's gonna be like lost on a sea of thumbnails. Okay, so it's
So at what stage do you start the pre-sales? Like, do you have the movie shot already, or are you in the shooting?
It varies a lot. I mean, every project is different. This particular one that we are doing called Brides of Jesus, I mean, the key thing, it's a tough one because the two leads, I want them to be unknown. So, but we want to surround them with a bunch of people that move the needle. Right now, the idea is just to attach people that I mean, ideally it should be based on just, it's got to be the right one, the right person, and that person is talented, and it's the right person for the part. But then you check with your distributors or with people that know about pre-sales, or people that can tell you data, like, is this person going to be somebody that is going to help my film get pre-sales in India and in these other places? Does this person move the needle? Which is sad. So many great artists, because they don't have enough Twitter followers, it's like they and I'm like, so you have a 3-time Oscar winner, a 2-time Oscar winner that only has what, like 6,000 Twitter followers, but it's some dumbass with like 80,000 followers. It's like, it's better, So it's a lot of those things that you have to kind of figure out. But the idea is basically to gather, attach people in the early stages, build the whole thing, the package, and then with that, see if you can get outside money that comes from the distributors outside, and do your distribution before you shoot, not after you shoot. Because a lot of people obviously not understand how it is. Do it afterwards, and then you don't want to end up with a film shot and then going like, oh, let's go and sell it now. It's your loss. Now, if you're doing something small, obviously this is for like something slightly when there's more money on the line. That's why sometimes it's like I prefer. Sometimes I just feel like, let's just make one of those little $20,000 ones, those little things, and just go out there, because there's no risk,
Yeah.
But yeah, pre-sales is one of the best ways, and it's just it's a bitch, man, because it's kind of like trying to find the right talented people that are going to move the needle, So it's that's actually what happened with the film that I just lost right now, which is that I was going to shoot.
So are they recasting, or is that what's going on? Or
I think most likely it's going to be like that. It's a shame, because the person in question is the right person for the role. So it's a businessman. So now, of course, if you're doing like a private investor, I mean, actually, to me, it's just like, as you get a little more established, the problem is somebody. It doesn't happen often. I don't want to make it sound like, oh, people are giving me money. It takes years to get one project going. So, but when that does happen, and it has happened in the past, I have on my shoulders, I have there's no pressure, nothing like that, but it's like, I do have the responsibility now. Now this is for real. It's no games anymore. Now, if somebody gives me $1.5 million or $2 million or whatever it is, or $300,000, now it's on. Now we have to return this money.
Yeah.
And the earliest you can do it, the better. And so you find ways to get pre-sales so you can start. It's just a return part of the investment. Like, I got 20,000 from here. You'd be surprised how hard it is to recoup even like 200, 300, like 8 or 9 out of 10 films that don't make any money. So it's a business that is incredible, because it's a wonderful dream machine, but very, very, very small, minute macro part of the business actually makes money. But we keep making them.
Yeah.
We keep making them. I know producers that had like 8 films in a row that none of them made money. None of them. And he keeps finding money to make more. It's just kind of like, it's incredible. Some people are lucky like that. And
so is it like playing the lottery in a way? Like
you try to minimize the risk. And a lot of people use BS investors. Oh, we're going to get you your money back. No, you're not. Okay. So it's like, the thing is, you have to minimize it. Okay. With trying to attach, I mean, it's easier said than done, but trying to attach talent that might get you some pre-sales and things like that. Try to be wise with your budget. Try to get product placement. Try to maximize the return, as best you can on paper, and minimize the risks. So we're all freaking insane, but I love that we are the insane ones. I mean, it's because all of us might be collectively insane, but it's like, I love the fact that we have these dream makers. I love the fact that, my film has the greatest possibility of not ever returning the investment, or like, this might kill me, but I love the fact that we keep making them. It's just, literally, honestly, it's like making an album nowadays. It literally is, it feels like I just experienced that when I released a 3rd album of music, and I was kind of like, obviously I'm not expecting to go platinum. I mean, but then again, who goes platinum anymore? But it's like, but it's just kind of like, it's like that. You put your heart and soul into something, and you put it out there, and you try to push it as best you can. And there's a really good chance they're gonna get the song for free, and you're gonna make maybe, I mean, what is it? Spotify pays you like 0.000000000, you know, and so it's I think I had like about 100,000 streams or something like that, which was amazing, and I think I have enough to buy myself a coffee in 7-Eleven, you know, so it's like so at least I got those 100,000 people
moving
Thank
on
you.
up.
That coffee was great.
Next year, Starbucks.
But
Next
it's
year,
basically like that.
Starbucks.
But what are people stopping making music? No, we keep on going. We find ways to survive.
What style of music are you making?
Always been rock music and stuff like that. I've always been into that stuff. But I've been a drummer and keyboardist for a long time, so I just figure, and I got afflicted by a case of tinnitus, which is the ringing in the ears. It was really bad at one point, but now it's a little better. And because of all those years, you're like just banging on the drums and stuff like that. And it's and definitely people careful with your ears. Anyway, so I started getting into, because like now you can make music at home. This is about 10 years ago. So I started making a lot of instrumental music, electronic music, and of all types, very rhythmic and percussive. And I put it out there. It was kind of like I just started, and people saying, "Hey, you should put," back then when people were still buying an album or buying a song, and it's like I just put these two things out in succession, and they actually did kind of okay. I returned my investment because I made CDs back then, and I'm making an album now. I gotta make an album.
Yeah.
So it's so I made this. I started making as the year progressed. This past year and part of this year progressed. I was making a lot of the projects I was editing, because I edit a lot. A lot of clients who need like some background music, and they were going to hire some musician. I'll be like, I can make a loop here. I can make this. So I started building songs, and suddenly I realized that I had a really cool set of songs: rock, pop, ambient, electronic-ish. It's best way to describe music is piñata. It's a salad, a big salad of everything. And I decided to. I had enough tracks, and I was kind of like, well, why not? What the hell? Why not? I mean, let's just at least release it, but just as a way to like this it's in this little bag. Okay, this is the album, and I put it out there, and it's great, and it's got a lot of plays, which is great. And I said, I mean, I know I'll never see a dime, but it's like I just do it because it's cool. It's I tell you what, my goal was basically to make enough money so I can release it now on vinyl, just so I can see it on vinyl. Because I actually get a vinyl. One of the key requirements for me in my desk is like I stream music all the time, so it's fine. I'm not a purist, but vinyl does have an incredible sound. So I'll do like I have a turntable, a nice one next to me. So if I'm writing or working or whatever, it's late at night. You have a little drink over here, whatever. I love to see something spinning, and and just playing, and it's nice. And so my goal with my record was basically to make enough money so I can release it on red vinyl or some shit like that.
Fair enough, man. It's good to have goals.
Yeah. And it's like, which I did. So I still, we'll see how it goes. But yeah, the music aspect is great. But another thing that has helped a lot is because of music and because of editing, it does help the filmmaking part of it. I mean, it helps you be a better editor. It helps you about the rhythms of a scene and things like that. So it's all good, man. I'm happy to be able to do that,
All right, cool, man. Now, I know you've already given a lot of advice for listeners and people trying to get in, but do you have any any advice that either you want to reiterate or something that you haven't mentioned that you want to share with the Uncontained audience?
I think the young people coming in here in this business are way, way smarter, and they have a lot better tools. Guys, you don't even know the tools you guys now have. You guys are so lucky, all of you. I mean, back then it was hard, man, because if you want to make anything, go and get a VHS camera or we shoot on film, it was hard, man. But I say my best advice will be like, just keep on going. People are going to tell you, life is going to obviously show you that it's really hard. Just keep on going if you want to make films, but be real. Don't bullshit yourself. If you want to be a filmmaker, then just study it. Everybody wants everything so quick and easy. It's like, just study it. I mean, like you're supposed to watch key films. You're supposed to go out there and study the filmmakers. Have a set of influences. basically ask yourself, what do you have to say? What do you have to say? I mean, what makes me different from the other schmuck? And so it's like, so same thing if you're a writer or director. Just the important thing, I guess, is, I guess Harrison Ford said it best. I'm paraphrasing this. Like, the great Harrison Ford is that he basically is like, the secret to success is basically outlasting, basically the people that came with you on the bus. You know what I'm saying? It's like something like that. He actually, he made it around 35, 37 years of age. Is you have to. It's gonna be heartbreaking, dude. It's gonna be a lot of times a shit show. It's gonna be a lot more pain and heartache and everything else. But you have to commit. This can't be a hobby. This is not a hobby. This is you have to commit heart and soul. And I know that people that get into this are very passionate already, so I don't need to say that. But just influences, guys. I keep saying this shit. I can't tell you how many times I've been with a director that has not a fucking clue how to block a scene. So really take it seriously. Like, we study it, watch everything, and learn it. And then shoot. Whatever it takes. It doesn't matter what camera. Just go out there and just experiment and make mistakes. Just keep going, man. It's a hard career. Just keep going, and that's it.
Awesome, man. For the people who don't know necessarily where to start as far as influences, do you have any suggestions for people that might have helped shape your style?
First of all, you can just basically get a list of like online of like influencing directors. Like, for example, you get like in a list you have people like David Lynch or like David Lean or people like that, the Fellinis, the Hitchcocks and stuff like that, and just kind of look for like their key films. The point here is not like, I'm gonna make you watch Psycho by Hitchcock, and then I'm gonna make you watch Jaws by Spielberg, or something like that. And then, but there you go. That's two different types of styles. So Jaws, we've seen Jaws, right? Everybody's seen Jaws. We know about the shark. We know it. But now I want you to see Jaws differently. I want you to see it as this shark kept breaking down in reality. So he had very little time. The shark, I think, has about only a few minutes of screen time. What did he do to create suspense? How was the scene blocked? How do people come in? How is the whole story arc developed? How does Spielberg like to do his thing? Then you compare it to another director. Hitchcock, why does he do his thing? Then you compare it to another director. Fellini does it like that. And there's so many incredible stuff like Brian De Palma, like Carpenter, David Cronenberg, all these people. Watch that stuff. The reason I didn't say like this, it's always a top 100 best films of all time kind of list or whatever. You can start with those, right? But usually those don't cover everything, right? But that's a start. You don't have to like Fellini, man. You don't have to like Kurosawa. You don't have to like, but if you watch it, now you know. Okay, that's what he does. That his shtick is this. That thing he's doing all the time, that's his shtick. Great. It saves your ass, dude. I've been on shoots, okay, in which the director literally wants to shoot things Terry Gilliam style. And I'm going like, and I know I've seen how Terry Gilliam shoots, which is wide lenses, a lot of wide lenses. So it's kind of like, I might not be into Terry Gilliam, but I know how Terry Gilliam shoots and blocks a scene. Now I know. Because if all I have is Netflix and binging on more fucking shows, you are going to lose. So you need to have an arsenal of stuff. So yes, influences, please. You know what? I know it's hard because you have to maybe buy a Blu-ray, shit, or maybe you have to download. It's kind of hard. It's not easy because all the great shit is not on Netflix. It's out there. So you have to go get it. So I know it's hard. Like, for example, it's a beautiful horror film that just came out, a re-release from 1980s called The Changeling. I mean, I forget that's like with George C. Scott. Okay. Fucking great slow burn of a horror film. Just great. I mean, like back when they were making really great horror films. Now, how do you get it? You have to pay like $20-something. So that's it's a little bit unfortunate. Just find a way. I mean, like, God, man, there's so many things, man. It's available out there. You have to look for it. But it's like, I can't stress enough. Everybody talks about gear. We are in an industry right now that thinks that gear is everything. So it's kind of like, it's not the gear, because if you suck, you're going to suck in 4K. You know what I'm saying? You're going to suck really bad. So it's like, you have to have something. There's an army of DPs and directors that are making shit that looks exactly the same. It's almost like they're trying to replicate all these expensive shows, but with like pesos, with peanuts, and you're gonna suck, or if not, worst of all, to me, worse than sucking is basically like just looking like anything else.
Yeah.
I mean, that kill me then. At that point, it's kind of like, if I'm gonna make something that looks exactly like that guy and that other guy and another guy, sometimes you have to do it. It's the way it is. But it's like, if it's gonna be like that, then fuck it, man. I mean, I'm just pay me my check and that's it.
Or the other aspect of it where they're remaking everything.
The reason for remakes, obviously, is because you want to invest, obviously, in something that has a built-in audience, right? So it's less risky. But also because we, the audience, are so fucking lazy they think that everything that was more than 5 years old, 10 years old, is old. That shit looks amazing if you watch it. If you grab one of those Criterion Blu-rays or whatever, if you shine a light through a negative, if they actually remaster it and give it to you again, it looks incredible, and it looks as good as some of your latest Alexa cameras and things like that, or even better. So it's like that's because they know that a lot of the young people don't want to go and see old stuff. We're gonna repackage it, make it suck ass, and then give it to you again. Because they usually give it to some young director that has no fucking clue what that film meant when it came out.
Yeah.
Because that filmmaker is just maybe one of those music video directors that basically that's code for like, I just make images and stuff like that and whatever, but I have no fucking idea how to block a scene. So I just basically put it out there, and I can't believe it. I mean, there's only been like maybe I would say 2 or 3 remakes this last few years that I can say like, I can say that kind of worth it. I mean, Jacob's Ladder, which is a fantastic film, had a suck-ass remake. I mean, Flatliners, which is a great film, another suck remake. I mean, Fright Night sucked. I mean, all these other films that I'm going like, whatever made these horror films, it kind of work just gets lost. The last Poltergeist. I'm going like, I literally got drunk that night after watching that. It's like, because the pain was so big. There's a few exceptions here and there, but it's like, remakes are always going to be there.
I hear that, man. I hear that. So let's switch modes just a little bit here. Yeah. Like, what are you currently doing, like social media or otherwise, to promote yourself, get your name out there, and let people know about your films that are coming up?
Right now, the project that is in the works right now. I mean, the script that has been finalized, and there's music that needs to be written, that's been written and recorded. I mean, professional musicians and stuff like that. I mean, because it's a film that combines comic book, action, adventure, live action, obviously, and then music. This has been slightly done before in films like Hedwig and the Angry Inch, or like Streets of Fire and things like that. It's like all those films combined with a badass road action movie, and it's just a big piñata, and that's what I like about it, because nothing really looks like it. But it requires several stages: the comic book aspect, the animation, and just creating building the whole concept. That's in the project called Brides of Jesus, and that's the current project that's happening right now. Page will be available, I think, sometime in the next week or so. But work has been done in a studio for the music, and so that's been pretty much what that in my personal projects I've been preoccupied with. The rest, obviously, of the stuff has been like the usual things that freelancers do, which you go and shoot for everybody. And promoting it, I mean, every once in a while on Facebook, we've been putting, maybe some of the clips of the demo, the songs, song demos. But we've been I've been very, unless it's ready and fully formed, I don't want to start putting things out there. But it's coming. I'm hoping in the next few weeks it's coming up. But right now, basically, that's the goal. There's 2 films. One of them is called Brides of Jesus, and the other film is called Alone, which is like a horror film.
Horror film.
And it's it's smaller because it's contained, and that's a very David Cronenberg type kind of film, and which I really, really like. And that's all the information on those things should be coming in hopefully by the end of next week or the following. And I'm going to be putting it out there.
Sounds good.
For a while, I was kind of like a little isolated in the promotion. Now, I do promote myself in terms of like I put my reel out there and stuff like that, just to continue get the machine. Have the machine keep going, but that's pretty much what's going on. And I'm promoting the album too. Obviously, it's been already kind of like a year, but it's like every once in a while through Facebook, I put a lot of clips and a lot of links to the album and stuff like that. Just just to keep it there in case anybody wants it.
Yeah, of course.
And so it's just it's a constant state of promotion. Not to going too crazy with it, but it's basically me, my demo reel to get work, the film to get some traction on the film, and then you have the music to get some traction on the music. So
fair enough.
You try to push a little bit of everything,
I'm looking forward to seeing Brides of Jesus.
Brides of Jesus.
Runaway Nuns, and they're in a punk band, you said, correct?
Yeah, they're in a punk band. The punk band is called the Brides of Jesus. It's as crazy as it sounds, but it's there's some great. We wrote the original screenplays, but we had some also amazing writers that came in, and suddenly the thing grew into like. It's just something that was fun at the beginning and suddenly grew into like, damn, this is a really good film. So it's kind of like, shit, this is going to be so complicated to make.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was going to be some $100,000 film. No, dude, this is different. And we plan to get a lot of cameos from a lot of people. Already a lot of people are interested. I can't name them, but there's going to be a lot of people from the rock, punk, and rap and all kinds of music, famous people that are just going to be parading. There's going to be little cameos here and there, but obviously you have the real cast and a real storyline.
Yeah.
But there's a few moments where you can fit in like a few cameos, and so yeah, it's a lot of really cool people that are interested in it. And it's one of those things I know it's going to happen. It's just like when a project's going to take a long time. This one is just kind of like, oh shit, this is going really fast. So it's we'll see.
Right on.
But right now it seems to be happening. So hopefully, if everything goes okay, but next year. It should be the most complicated thing I ever done. It's because it has all the filmmaking tricks are gonna be used. I mean, everything is involved. So it's in that case maybe that's why I'm so attracted to it too, because you use every trick in the book on this one. So let's see how everything goes.
Man, well, I'll definitely have to have you back on when that comes out, because
man.
I'll have to watch that, then talk to you about it, because it sounds like it's going to be a fun movie. So
yeah, and we've seen each other. I've seen you. You'll see me in Facebook. So it's like you'll see also by the time that I'll send you a link when the website is up.
Awesome.
But you'll see a lot of at that point. Yeah, at that point you'll see a lot of Brides of Jesus. This because that's one of the things we're gonna do. We're gonna do a promotional situation we're gonna build the social media behind it, because the band in the movie we're gonna they has a lot of followers. They have a lot of followers, like an underground following. So we're gonna create that in real life. We're gonna have like releases. We're gonna create the Brides of Jesus outside of the movie.
Oh, nice.
In real life,
nice,
leading to the film. So there should be plenty of stuff. But check it out. Hopefully coming to you next year. Towards the end of next year.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Sounds good, man. What is a highlight or two that you care to share?
There's been a lot of highlights. I mean, I started in '91, dude. So it's like, it's been so many things. I mean, for me, it was like on the film side of things, it was to be able to shoot with the great filmmakers. I mean, with Tony Scott, people like that, like Roger Corman, and seeing a lot of my heroes. So it's that to me that I know it sounds kind of sound cheesy, man, but it's like the fact that I've been all over the globe in the strangest, most remote locations, because the battle, right? Filmmaking is a battle, and just shooting is just. Or creating images, that's the highlight. It's just the only drawback is like it's like crack. I mean, it's like you want to do it again and again and again, and when you don't do it, you go through a lot of lows, and depression and things like that. We are like that, and people like us are like that. So the highlight, and also in music too, through film, having to meet people that I just completely like. Wow, like Roger Daltrey, Brian May. I actually got to work on a Velvet Revolver music video. That was kind of cool too. Yeah, so it's just there's so many highlights. I mean, I think I would say like not the biggest. I mean, one of the biggest thrills is actually not the least expensive and smallest of them all. I've been in $5 million music videos, like $10 million commercials. I mean, stuff insanity like that.
Yeah.
But it was this little $5,000 film. I made a bet with a producer, an Italian producer, we were drunk, that I could make a film for $5,000. It just came up. And it's like, okay, I'll give you the money. It's like, and then when I was sober, I realized, oh shit, I'm gonna have to do this, and that led to my first directing job, which I made a film called Delivery about this pizza delivery guy. It was just like this ridiculous thing. It's like a slasher movie, and it actually did well. And the thing about it is like, oh, Delivery, you can locate that in people like places like that.
Okay.
But it's like it's. I know it was cheap, but I made it even cheaper looking because I wanted to these films I grew up with, these little cheesy looking slasher films. And the actor who played the lead, I gave copies to everybody. He, without me knowing, gave a copy of the film through a company that I think was Polychrome Pictures that I distributed for Warner Brothers.
Oh, cool.
And so suddenly I get a call from Warner's saying that they want the film, and I'm going like, "What? You want this thing?" So to me, the thrill was like to make a film on my own after shooting at that point for 15 years, to actually finally direct, and which coincided with the first few cameras that came out, the 24p cameras that came out. So it was a possibility, and the film ended up actually costing more like $4,300, like $4,300. Like it was a labor of love, and I had so much fun. Nobody got paid, and but the thing about it is like when you see the film, what I love the most is like I know that the Warner Brothers logo, the new one, the digital one, it cost like about $150,000, right?
The logo itself.
The logo. So I mean, when they designed it, when Warner Brothers put that's when they were rolling out the new Warner Brothers logo, the new version of it. So that was about $150,000 to $200,000. So I always love in this film that it begins with the logo of the company, which is about $200,000, and then what follows is it's a $4,300 film, which is just great. No, but it did well, and back in that time, it sold like about 300,000 DVDs, and this is like people say, "Oh my God, that's like a lot," and I'm going like, "Yeah," because you have to understand this is before streaming. People were just buying lots of DVDs.
Yeah,
and I got $0. This is how distribution companies was. It was on 260,000. Copies of this thing. I never got any money. That's how the middleman is, but I didn't care. So to me, that was kind of like interesting. It doesn't matter how big I've done some high profile commercials for like Revlon and the Apple and all this big stuff, and I shot for big bands, and I mean, I work with some really great people, but this little film, this little baby film that I nurtured and I put it out there, and I was like preoccupied if it would get like good reviews or bad reviews, and of course it's horror film, so it's gonna get tons of bad reviews. So it's like so I'm like, oh my God, they don't like my baby, that kind of stuff. So I was just kind of like, it was looking back, it's like, because it's like we're all here just shooting something. There's no risk really. Let's just go out and shoot, and we got to create rain. Okay, great. So let's bring a pipe and poke some holes on it. I mean, it's just making it. I love the experience. Unfortunately, you grow after that, and you're trying to make better things, and then it's more money, and it becomes less fun. I mean, I honestly, I don't get me wrong. I want to have plenty of money to make my movie, but just more money, more problems, And but I do like that innocent thing of Delivery. So it's a drinking game, by the way, in the East Coast now. In a lot of colleges, they play the movie. Because the gentleman in the pizza delivery guy, great guy, great actor, he's a big guy. So he gets insulted throughout the film. And that's the whole thing. He gets insulted all the time. Life's unfair. And at the end, he loses his shit and starts killing everybody that did him wrong. So it's like, so it's kind of like every time he gets insulted, people drink, take a shot. Influence in a lot of all along the East Coast. So the film did well, and it's like that was a highlight. Because because it was so small, and it gave me a lot of happiness. Like, this is just me, not you, and it's me, and the fact that it's a crazy thing when you put yourself out there, and that was the first time that I did that. Nice. See, I'm all cocky, like, oh, I'm hot shit, I can do this, but it's like, and I had a big ego, which thank God has been resolved. But it's like, but that was the first time in which you put something out there, which I've never done. And then you are facing criticism. And actually, thank God, most people like the film. But it's like, it was really interesting to see that situation. Plus, it's the first time they actually wrote dialogue. Not the greatest dialogue in this movie, but it's like dialogue, and to see actors recite it, it's like, oh, whoa. I mean, because you can write something, but when you give it to somebody else for the first time, and he's just interpreting it and acting it out, and I was like, oh, I never experienced that ever. So
I can
because
imagine.
it was a first time. So for me, I've been lighting and shooting for top people for a long time, but I had never been. This is my stuff. So it's kind of like it doesn't really represent what I do. My imagery is usually a lot better than this, but it's like just experience was kind of like, wow, that's really interesting. I thought that was interesting. So just like the first time you release an album, it's like your first time. Yes, those are the highlights.
Definitely, and it all came from a drunken bet. And
yeah. He said,
so
if I make the film for $5,000, if I make this film, I will send you to Rome, and you're gonna have some pasta carbonara with me.
oh, nice.
Which is great. Oh my god! And it's like, and I'm like, really? So great. Okay, so I did it, and he did flew me to Rome, and I have family there, but it's like, and I had a pasta carbonara with him, and that was cool. What he didn't expect is that the film will get distribution. He thought it was a bet. It's like, here's a DVD, here's a DVD copy that I made on my computer. Here it is, and done. And by the time I got to Rome and I told him, Warner Brothers had picked it up, and I was just all like, this is hysterical. And they made a really cool poster out of it. I'm like, the poster was like, they spent so much money. Not too much money, but they spent some money, and I only spent about $4,000 in this thing.
Yeah, compared to what you spent on it.
It's super cheesy, super cheesy. I use this the old Canon 24p cameras. I mean, it was so bad and grainy. So it's a
right.
But hey, we had. I mean, I like that. I like that. It's kind of funny that I would highlight that over working with Tony Scott or working with big people, and but this one just kind of had touched my heart, I guess. So
nice. Sometimes it's the little things, man. But I got two more questions for you before I get out of here. When somebody watches a film of yours or experiences your music, is there something that you want them to take away and remember from your work?
Well, obviously the ideas, the goals, whether it's a commercial, whether it's a movie, my work can just be seen, I mean, in so many areas. I mean, you don't even notice. If you watch a farmer's commercial, which I've shot for those, you watch a progressive commercial. I mean, I've seen commercials is different because commercials you have to obey by what the agency wants. This is the look. So in that case, you adapt. But when you watch anything I do, I just hope that it doesn't, that it conveys the message, the right way, that it looks professional, that it looks, well, that you can't, even if you don't like the project, you can't deny the craftsmanship. With the exception of that slasher film I told you about, because that was done bare bones. I mean, there's no craftsmanship there.
We won't judge on that one. We won't judge on that one.
But it's like, the idea is just to make sure this thing looks like, if it's a movie, it looks like a movie. It doesn't look cheap at all. There's no shots that bring attention to themselves, because it's something that happens a lot now. Like all these shots, like, got a shot. It's like, no, dude. The idea is, when you're noticing that my shot is cool, I failed my job. It needs to be telling the story. That's it. I can't. If it turns into like, oh my God, it's a really cool like dolly shot, it's like, then at that point you're not paying attention to the story, you know. And so it's like, that's my attitude about it. And some of the big, great God DPs think the same way. So
now, are you talking about when like when you have an average person watching is like, oh, that's a shot like that, or when a filmmaker's watching, because they're going to have different minds?
I think everybody do, because a lot of times, it's camera shaking this and that, and I'm like going like, why? I mean, or maybe the way it's cut is kind of irrational, or maybe I'm just kind of just doing some camera shot just to, whoa, look at the camera shots I need to do, and you'd be surprised, miss, less is more. I mean, and don't bring attention to your shot. Like, what's the the great Sidney Lumet used to say, director of Dog Day Afternoon and all these films. Don't assume that, don't believe that the difficulty of achieving that shot, don't believe that it means it's a good shot. It's like, it's the best films are the ones in which you are so taken by the story, you're so sucked in, that you're not paying attention, like, oh my God, look at that little Steadicam shot I did. No, it just happens organically. Yes, the camera needs to go from here to there, but you are in the story. You're following the character. You're not thinking in terms of like, oh, look at this cool shot. And there's a lot of filmmakers when they're starting out. I understand when we all started out, we're gonna try our little tricks, like, oh my God, you're gonna get whatever arsenal or shots you have, you use, right? It's fun at the beginning. Get that out of your system, get it out of your system. But it's like, if you're paying attention too much, like, oh, I did this dolly or this, at that point, I'm not doing my job. I don't want you to notice my cinematography. Yeah, you can say after the film is done, yeah, it looked pretty or whatever, but it's like, I want you to only just be sucked in by that story. If that's possible, it doesn't happen often, but if it happens, then I've done my job. My job is to, as a cinematographer, is to serve the story, to tell you the story, or as a director. So hopefully, that's a goal, right? It's hard enough to make a bad movie, so it's like.
In a way, it's kind of like a good cinematographer, a good shot is kind of like a good bassist in a band. Like if you notice the bassist, most of the time they're not doing their job, with a few exceptions like Claypool or whatever. But
whatever.
Like if you notice the bassist, something's wrong. If a good bassist goes unnoticed.
Unless you like Rush or like Yes or some shit like that. It's like, I don't want to hear the bass. But but it's like we live in a time in which everybody's so like fascinated with tools, and great, fascinated with tools, but that's not the thing. These are just tools. I mean, when I get hired a lot of time, it's just kind of like, what camera do you have? I mean, what does it matter? It's just like it's if you like the work, if you like the reel, then let's go. And so if you have it's like sometimes a lot of people, it's like, oh, we have a drone, let's do a drone. Do we need a drone? I mean, because we could need a drone. But let's not use a drone just because we have a drone. Let's not just do a steady cam just because you have a steady cam. Do you need to move to a shirt right now? You know that just a mild little slider shot, just a little bit, that's enough. Less is more. You know how you get that? When you have good influences. But if you watch nothing but showy shit, that is just like, then it's all you have, then it's all you have. So I would say like my job, my hopes with my work is like, it's not all the time because a lot of times you're not in control. But is that hopefully the project, I guess at the end of the day, it's like, I hope the project entertains you, whether it's a commercial, music video. I just hope that you get entertained. And hopefully, I still have some more years. So hopefully it gets to a point in which like you can spot the similarities. You can see, oh, that's that guy. Because a lot of people in the industry already know that, but I'm hoping, my goal, obviously, we'll have high goals, right? I hope it's like usually at some point the work is like, gets more. I mean, you can see the similar. You can see that. You can follow the work. Like you can tell that I was shot by him. So it's interesting because this whole industry is so based on. It's kind of funny. A lot of famous DPs, they got there because the projects they shot became successful. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you ride that wave. So it's all, you don't know what's going to happen. I mean, maybe one of these projects becomes really, really successful and then move on. But success is somebody was asking me that. I mean, what's success in this business? And it's like, to me, it's the same thing as Bob Dylan used to say. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's like, you can wake up in the morning and go to bed at night, and in the middle you did something you love. You worked something you love. I mean, that's success. I mean, that's what it is. You have to understand, you have to also have that mindset, because in this business, only a small percentage of people are the ones that are making the gazillions of dollars. And it's fine. That's fine. You can still be a successful gaffer, key grip, script supervisor, DP. I just didn't want to miss a party. I wanted to make sure I get hired. So if I can't get hired as a director, I'll be hired as a DP. If I can't hire as a DP, I'll be hired as an editor. You know what I'm saying? So the more you learn, but I'm truly good at it, the more you learn, it's great. So it saves you. So.
All right, awesome, man. So, real quick before we get to the last question, do you have what's your corner of the internet? Where can people find you? What's your social media? It's basically on Facebook. On Facebook, you just kind of type my name. Jose Zambrono Cassella. I have all the in my Facebook page and Instagram too. You just type in Jose Zambrono Cassella. There's not many of us. You just type those three things, you'll find me. And even though this is LA and we have about 400,000 Jose's, you won't find one is Jose Zambrono Cassella. Okay.
So it's so on Instagram you'll find me, and once you get to those pages, usually there's a little link underneath it, Jose Zambrono Cassella, director, camera monkey, whatever, and then below there'll be like a link to the Wix site, and you'll have some more information on me. But yeah, just find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram. You can find me on Twitter too. It's either it's Jose Zambrono Cassella on Instagram, at Jose Zambrono Cassella. It's on Facebook, obviously it's just Jose Zambrono Cassella. On Twitter though, is because I'm ridiculous, it's called EL Camera Monkey. And El Camera Monkey will be just me, which is my fun just like rant site, and but over there you can you can still type Jose Zambrono Cassella, you can still type it and you can find it. And I'll be posting a lot of stuff there, and I'm posting all the time, all kinds of rants and stuff like that. So, and I'll send you also the links for the album. I'll tell you what, I'll send you the link to like my whole thing and for the album and everything else in case you need to post it or anything like that.
All right, perfect, man. I'll include all that in the show notes and stuff so people can find that there. All right, Jose, man, I had a great time talking to you this morning, and I appreciate you coming sharing all your knowledge, and I'm really looking forward to Brides of Jesus and seeing the Bride punk band, the nun punk band. That'd be fun. Pretty damn cool.
It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be fun.
So I have one final question for you. Jose, how do you live uncontained?
Man, how do I live uncontained? A lot of people ask me, like, especially because you go through a lot of hardships in this business and stuff like that, ups and downs. It's ups and downs all the time. I'm like, somebody asked me at one point, like, have you ever thought about doing something else? And I'm going like, is there anything else? There is nothing else. There's only this. And I knew from the beginning, nothing was going to stop me from getting to where I needed to get. I came from a country, a third world country, and that was once very rich, but then when I left it, when it was very, very poor. And I was not supposed to be a filmmaker. You're not supposed to think about being a filmmaker or being a musician. I mean, those things that doesn't exist. I said, but to hell with that. I mean, I set up on a course and I knew, like, it doesn't matter what happened. I'm going to finish it. I'm going to lead a life in the arts. I'm going to be a filmmaker. I'm going to be behind that camera. I'm going to edit that film. I'm going to make that record. I'm going to do all the things I want to do that I love the most. Film and music and film. I'm going to do them and do them well. There is nothing else. And there are moments in which, like, you're riding high, and there's moments in which you literally can't even make the rent. And even then, there is nothing else.
Yeah.
It's only this. And my attitude is the people that truly survive in this business are the ones in which, like, it's almost illogical to think about anything else. It's like, there's only this. Nothing else exists but this. You have to breathe it. You have to live it. And to me, it's not even like an effort. It's just like, it's natural. It's like, that's what I have to do. So whatever it takes. This is my business. This business is basically a career that requires sacrifice all the time. No one's going to give it to you. You got to go and build it. You have to literally create it out of nothing and find people that are crazy enough to give you money to make your dreams a reality. It's just, it's an insane thing. Just think about how the basis of the business is. It's basically this. I go to an investor and say, hey, I need you to give me some money to make a film. And in return, I don't know if I can give it back to you. That's it. That's it. We can create a huge meeting and we minimize the risks and do all this stuff and give you nice fancy charts and all that bullshit. No, we don't know. You can make a masterpiece and still lose the money. So it's like, you don't know. And that's the incredible thing about this business, like, you don't know. So it's like, nobody knows, because if people knew, if there was a formula, they will be using it to death. They'll be using it all the time. So there is no formula. I love that. It's like living life in a way, Uncontained. Yeah, it's living life on the edge all the time. And it's really, I don't know. I've been a freelancer for like now 30 years. I've done well, thank God, but I just don't want to be contained. I don't want to be in a cubicle. I don't want to be trapped. I'm a Rolling Stone. I need to fly, man. So it's like, I need to be able to fly. If I'm sitting down, even when I'm editing, if I'm long enough in the edit suite, I'm like already scratching myself. I'm going like, okay, I need to do something. I need to be on set. And when you don't have it, for some reason right now it's like a low production period right now. There's not a whole lot of things going on. You get like down. You get like, oh my God. And it's kind of funny because Stephen Colbert, the great comedian, says it best. When you're working,
yes,
you're always working, right? When you're not working, you'll never work again. It's that kind of stuff. We're so dramatic, but and it doesn't matter how frustrating, soul-sucking, experience can be, it's like you want to do it again because this is part of your life. It's kind of funny. I don't know what safety net is or anything like that. I mean, obviously, I'm responsible. I have family and this and that. And obviously, I always provide. But it's always been a little mental like danger in this particular business. There's no normalcy. A lot of people don't like this, rightfully so. They don't like this kind of. It's a risk every time. I mean, because you don't know when. A lot of times, even with fame or even with like some kind of like notoriety and stuff like that, and people know you, you don't know where your next check is coming from. I mean, that's the thing is. I mean, I don't know what I'm shooting next month. So it's like, and it's always been like that, but I got so used to it because there's nothing else for me. It's like, I've always been, thank God, a bit successful. But it's like, I just, you always plan, there's important things to plan. Obviously, your kid and this and that, your family, make sure everybody's okay. But in terms of career, I mean, yeah, I can tell you how these movies and stuff like that. But it's always kind of like an element to like, I don't know what's going to happen. So it's kind of like, it's a really interesting little world. But I live uncontained. I live uncontained because of that. I live uncontained. I don't want to be contained. There's no way you can contain me. I would be the most miserable person if I was contained. I'm like, I can't do normal. And I sometimes, was another thing a lot of people in our business do, a lot of artists do, whatever. They were kind of sometimes jealous of the people that are normal, that have jobs, regular jobs, and the house, and the 3.5 kids, and the dog, and everything else. And it's like, but the funny thing is, a lot of them also are envious of us. They would like to be free like us. So it's like a different, interesting thing. Like we both, the perfect thing for me, I think I'm achieving it, which is basically be able to lead a crazy life of like just adventures like this and also have a normal family. I think I'm achieving it, and that's great. So yeah, most definitely I am contained. So.
All right, perfect, man. I got one final thing for you to do. Thanks again for joining me today. But Jose, will you do me the honor of signing off the show today?
Yes. Here's signing up. So my name is Jose Zambrono Cassella, and I live uncontained.
And that does it for another episode of Uncontained. Thank you for listening, and thank you to Jose for coming on the show and sharing his story and all that great advice with us. And also thank everybody who has been sending congratulations on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter about the wedding that happened last week. So once again, that's why the show was not on last week, because I was off getting married, and well, I'm back though, so I got more Uncontained coming your way. We'll be keeping it flowing, and yeah, we'll be getting back to normal here. So make sure, if you haven't, you are subscribed to Uncontained on your favorite podcast player. And yeah, subscribe, like, share it with friends, and all that good stuff. And make sure you check out Jose's links in the show notes so you can follow up on when Brides of Jesus is coming out. And I'll definitely have to have him back on when that is out for people to see. So thank you for listening, and until next time,